We are at Riverside Park for this afternoon's high school football game between the Wilkinsburg Tigers and the homestanding Raiders of Riverview High School, who want to continue undefeated in league play. Wilkinsburg coming into the game with a record overall of 1-4. They are 0-3 in the league, direct opposite of the Riverview Raiders. Wilkinsburg, an improved team coached by Tony Mitchell. He's in his first Tiger team that last year went 0-10, but it is an improved team that is allowing an average of about 9 points per game to the opposition. But it's the offense that has failed them by being shut out 3 times, including its last 2 games, last week losing to Springdale by a 3-0 score. Their offensive outburst was against winless Cornell in week number 2, and their only win, 27-14. And depth is the big problem, 23 players. Senior Lance Logan and sophomore C.J. Younger lead the Tigers' running attack. So the Wilkinsburg Tigers at 1-4 and 0-3 in the section. The pregame show brought to you by True Value Hardware, where help is just around the corner. And True Value, of course, the official hardware store of the NFL. Riverview, coached by Jake Kappa, and 1 overall, losing only to Rochester. They are 3-0 in the section. Coached by Jake Kappa, the Raiders have won their 3 conference games by a combined score of 103-27. So in league play, they are allowing but 9 points to the opposition, and most of that came to Springdale. Riverview's quarterback Justin Dujak has completed 26 of 42 passes for 384 yards and 5 touchdowns in his first year as a starter. Carry average and Damian Heekin 7.1 show that the running game is in high gear and pretty well split. The AK Valley's leading receiver is Ben Ertlejack with 18 receptions, 314 yards, and was the Comcast MVP last week in the 33-0 victory over Sarah. The Raiders won the game between these 2 teams last year at Wilkinsburg 28-0. Back in a moment. Let's take this time out for True Value Hardware. Up, or what does that say? We air up? Oh, tear up the top. Oh, see how good I am at reading Gothic print here? Oh, brother. Who put that sign together? Not to criticize, but the Raiders coming into the game, Mike, with a mark, as we mentioned, in league play of 3-0. They want to keep that running pretty smooth. Valley won as expected. Highlands a big winner.
Right. I think just about everybody that was supposed to win did. North Catholic got back on the winning track, beat Burrell, and Katanning got back going. So
and Highlands remained a game behind.
Right,
Valley, yeah.
And Highlands also with with a big win last night. I mean, they're not completely out of playoff position right now. They're 2-2 in the conference. Katanning stands at 3-1, undefeated. It looks like they're going to go on to take the conference if things hold form. So the Highlands Rams with games at Knock and against Burrell the next 2 weeks, and having the Valley and the North Catholic games behind them already, I think Highlands has a shot to make the playoffs this year. And with this particular section here, the closest chasers to the Riverview Raiders would be Clairton, and I guess Duquesne. Yeah, Clairton right now is undefeated. They're playing this afternoon at Greensburg, and they've been impressive the last 3 weeks in their victories. And Greensburg also 2-1, so they're also going to be formidable here as we get down the stretch in the Eastern A Conference. And Mike, you take a look at the Springdale Dynamos this year, beating Wilkinsburg by 3-0 last week. However, when Wilkinsburg met a scoreless tie at the end of 4 periods, Clairton had to go into overtime to beat them 7-0. So this is a pretty hard game to figure out at times. Well, our Wilkinsburg spy over here told me before the game that that they have the 4th-ranked defense in the WPIAL. They're just not giving up very many points. The most points they've given up in any game is the game they won when they beat Cornell. They've just been shut out 2 games in a row. They can't score any points. The pregame show has been brought to you by Thrift True Value Hardware. And with Thrift True Value Hardware, help is just around the corner. Thrift True Value, the official hardware store of the NFL. I'm Bob Tattert along with Mike Pavlik. Joe Falsetti did not. Nursing a bit of a sore throat and a cold, so we hope that he'll be able to join us next Friday night when Richland will play at Burrell. The co-captains coming out of the field for the toss of the coin. We'll pause for a commercial break, and we'll continue in a moment right here at Riverside Park.
Randy Gilbert is out there for the Riverview Raiders, as is Fritz Tamburo, number 24. Number 20 is Ben Erdeljak, and number 62 is T.J. Skillen. 44, Damian Heekins, and Ron Zanella, who wears number 60. For Wilkinsburg, number 59 is Andre Williams. Number 30 is Lance Logan. There's the toss of the coin. And it appears the Tigers have won the toss. And the Raiders will defend the... Wilkinsburg did win the toss, and they have elected to receive. Wilkinsburg in the white and the blue, and the Raiders, of course, in the familiar black and the white trim. Boy, what a change from the last couple of weeks anyway. The sun is shining. It is an absolute gorgeous afternoon for this football game, and these teams are ready to...
I got up this morning, it was raining, and I was worried.
Yeah, I know. So the Raiders will have Lucas Heekins teeing up the football right now. They're both gathered around their respective coaches. We had mentioned that Tony Mitchell, who has taken over at Wilkinsburg, the team last year, the Tigers at Wilkinsburg, went 0-10. So he has the unenviable task of trying to turn the program around. An improved defense this year. They, as we mentioned at the outset, have been allowing only 9 points per game. And depth being the problem, they dressed 23 of them. So when 11 are out in the field, they've got the other half on the bench. So the Raiders, as we mentioned, defending the old 2-hour right. The deep man, C.J. Younger, flanked by Chaz Clemens and Lamar Scales. Chaz Clemens to the near side. Right down the middle is C.J. Younger, one of the Younger brothers.
After this game, he might be feeling a little bit older.
Lance Logan, number 30, or Lamar Scales, rather, number 22, to the far side. So 3 deep men. Prepares for the opening kickoff at high but short, and it will be fielded near the 25-yard line by Jones, number 80, David Jones, returning the football to the 27-yard line. Steve Sykon for the Raiders makes the tackle, and we'll watch Wilkinsburg in action. Let's take a look at their start. We'll have Glover, Smith, Hall, Nelson, Johnnon, and McClendon. And in the backfield, the quarterback is Jackson, Mitchell, Younger, Logan, and Jones. Logan and Jones are the wideouts. Penalty flag thrown. Quarterback pumping once, trying to get rid of it, but no go. But again, a penalty flag in the first play of the game. The line of scrimmage, the 27-yard line.
They let the play go, so the Raiders look like they're going to have the option of declining it if they want to.
So the penalty's been declined, and the Raiders will take the 5-yard loss. So in essence, it cost Wilkinsburg a down. As we watch on the replay, there's the fake pump, or the fake on the pump. David Jones, wide right, and they're running out of the eye. Jackson sends Lonnie Scales in motion. And Wilkinsburg, unable to make even the line of scrimmage on that play, gets up to the 20. So another loss perhaps of a yard or 2. So Darnell Jackson, for the second straight time, has lost yardage. It is now 3rd and 17. So from the 20-yard line, they've got to get to the 37. And you would anticipate either a blitz by Riverview or timeout is going to be called by Wilkinsburg. So a timeout. Break in the action, folks. We'll be normally when a Coach calls a timeout this early in the ball game. He's got something radical that he wants to change. For Wilkinsburg right now, 3rd and 17 from their own 30. They've got to get up to the 37 from their own 20, I'm sorry. Here is a give to Lewis Mitchell. And Mitchell up to about the 33. He's going to be about 4 yards short. On the field of play, let's take another look at it as Mitchell gets the call on 3rd and long. No faking on this one. And there's Heekins for the initial hit. And coming up for the Raiders was Ethan. So Antoine Nelson is back to punt. It's a fake punt, and the give goes to Lewis Mitchell, and it's not going to work. And the Raiders will take over on downs. Wilkinsburg tries the gamble here, folks, but they're going to come up short. They're going to give up the football back at the 30, so a loss on the play of about 3 yards.
Well, they went to the bag of tricks on that one, Bob. Now you wait.
First at the Wilkinsburg 30-yard line. We'll take a look at their starting offense after this play. It goes back to Tamburo. Tamburo is going to be brought down by Lewis Mitchell at about the 26. Very quickly, let's look at the Raider starting offense for the game. Here are the starters for the Raiders.
2nd and 6.
It'll be Skillen, Glover, Zanella, Ciora, Gigler, and Gilbert in the line. And in the backfield, Dujak, the quarterback. The backs are Tamburo and Heekins. The wideout is Erdeljak, and the tight end is Catullo. And 6. Dujak looking, throws a little pass out on the flat to Fritz Tamburo, and the pass goes incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 6. So 3rd down and 6. You must be having a problem with your microphone there, Mike, so hang loose. Right on the near side of the field, and 2 men moved. So Heekins in the backfield, and I believe Gilbert at the tight end. That'll cost him 5, and it'll bring up 3rd and 11. So the illegal procedure penalty will bring it back 5 yards. So 3rd and 11, as we mentioned, for the Raiders at their own 30 at the Wilkinsburg 31. Dujak fakes the pitch, keeps it, and is going to be hit and dropped. And it was Andre Williams on the sack for the Tigers. And the ball will be brought back to the 38. He came in from the left side of the Wilkinsburg line. And simply this, the fake. And here he is. Down he goes. So now
4th down and
at the Wilkinsburg 37-yard line. Actually, it's 17, 4th and 17. And Erdeljak is back to punt. Low snap, and the kick, short kick, obviously, and it's heading down toward the end zone. Would you believe? Really backs Wilkinsburg to the wall. The ball did escape Lucas Heekins down there, but they're going to mark it. I don't know if the Wilkinsburg bench would argue that or not.
Well, they're discussing it right now, Bob. I don't know if
It's going to stand.
I know in the pro game that if the man goes into the end zone, they bring it out to the 20, but in college and high school, that's what the case was there.
And they're going to stay with it.
Bob, the play, a bunch of papers just came flying down from the coaches upstairs. I think all the playbooks just went out.
Timeout has been called on the field, I guess. It's got to be an official timeout. Here's the official coming over now to talk perhaps.
Yeah, they're going to call it a touchback, Bob.
All that time to call that a touchback. I want to congratulate the crew. So they're going to bring it out to the 20. It only took them 2 minutes.
Well, at least they got it right.
Yes, would be complaining more, so.
Yeah, no ducks today.
Running out of the eye now, Wilkinsburg with the 1st and 10 from the 20. And the quarterback, Darnell Jackson, hands off. Running back was Lewis Mitchell on that carry, and Mitchell picked up 3 to the 23-yard line, and Justin Dujak. Second down and 7 here for the Tigers. And again out of the eye, and I believe again it was Mitchell. And Mitchell stumbles ahead and wrapped up. And T.J. Skillen was one. I think Sam Glover was the principal tackler on that play. But it's now 3rd and 1 for Wilkinsburg in a scoreless first quarter. The Raiders on their first possession had to punt the football. And we're 3rd and 1. Pardon me, 3rd and 1. Quarterback. And got the first down over the 30-yard line. And among others, Gilbert was there, Sam Glover, and the advances to the 31-yard line. And the Tigers of Wilkinsburg have a first down.
Bob, on that play, the Tigers put their big tight end, Emmanuel McClendon, in the backfield. And he didn't really make a block on the play, but at 6'3", 210, that's a pretty big guy coming out of there. And there he is. He's number 89. He's leading the way, and he does block Randy Gilbert. Pushed him out of the way a little bit, pretty much.
Just enough.
That was enough to get the first down.
Here goes Mitchell one more time. Mitchell from the 31-yard line to the 36, picks up 5. And the Raiders, let's see, Charlie Steffi. So give him 5 of the carry, 2nd and 5 coming up. Younger and Clemens are flanked to the right side. And this time Mitchell shakes off a tackler, still on his feet, gets up to the 39 or 40. And a late flag in the play. This could be a face mask.
I think that's Fritz Tamburo that came out of there with it.
Wilkinsburg will hold on to the football. But a stoppage in the play here as a flag has been thrown. If it's unintentional, they will just tack on 5 yards, which would advance it to the 45-yard line. But in either case, and the one official now signals that the sticks be moved, but this is not going to be a 5-yarder, folks.
That's the big one.
This is going to be a 15-yarder. It brings it into Raider territory at about the 45-yard line.
Right into it, like the old days at Burrell. The sun would be right into the scoreboard and you couldn't see it.
First down, a little flat pass to C.J. Younger, and Younger's going to be hit at the line of scrimmage, as Riverview had it diagnosed pretty well. And T.J. Skillen is the first to meet him, and no advance on the play, so it's 2nd and 10. Quarterback, after each play, goes over to the bench to chat with the coach. And we'll take another look at, you'll see the quick pass to C.J. Younger. Jackson just took the snap of the ball and very quickly threw it out, just took a couple of steps back. Now, here he comes. New Jack, but before he could get to him, it was T.J. Skillen bringing him down. And running with a football, Lonnie Scales. Scales stopped at about the 43-yard line. And Gilbert and Glover combined after the gain of 3. It's at the 42. So Wilkinsburg very much alive in this opening quarter here. This could have started at their own 1-foot line, but the officials decided that the ball was not contained by Lucas Heekins on the punt to keep it from going into the end zone. So they started at the 20. Here's a pass caught by Lance Logan. Logan is going to be hit perhaps at the line of scrimmage as Riverview quickly converges on the play. And the Tigers will punt the football away.
Maybe.
Well, that's true. The last time they...
Let's see if this is a lateral.
No.
Yeah, I think so, because
think?
he let go of it. It looked to me like at about the 47, and I think he caught it on the 49. Those are the ones you have to be careful of, because if those hit the ground, they're a live ball.
Hurdlejack finishes the tackle as Sam Glover was holding on to his ankle. So it's 4th down. They will not punt. Here's the pass attempt, and the penalty flag is almost picked off by Tambureau. But a penalty flag here, and
it's a holding call against Wilkinsburg, Bob. He'll decline that.
Take another look at Jackson. The pass falls short, and the Raiders were, look at that, Tambureau, and he knew it.
He had nothing but green grass in front of him there.
So the Raiders will take over at their own 42.
That's not a bad possession by Wilkinsburg there, Bob. They gained 38 yards in field position on that one.
Yeah. Dujack over center. 2 setbacks, and it goes to Heekins. Heekins hit for a loss of a yard on the play, and that was Antoine Nelson. So the loss will bring up a 2nd and 11, Riverview at their own 41. Heekins, all that yardage is off to his left, and he lost a yard. Second and 11 at the 41. Up the middle. This is Heekins. Heekins dragged down at midfield. That was a hard tackle put on him by Thomas Wallace. And so the Raiders have a 3rd down and about a yard. It's just over the 50, and they've got to, well, let's call it the 49, and they've got to make the Wilkinsburg 48 for the 1st down.
It's a heck of a block there, Bob, by Bob Pika, 51. He had his man totally shielded out of the play, and that opened up the hole for Heekins on that one.
And scoreless first quarter. We're better than halfway through. 3rd and short. It is Erdeljack, 1st down, dancing around. Erdeljack, 35. And he ran into his own man, and that's a play in which you like to have back. But Chad Bynum was the guy in front of him. And the ball's going to be marked at the 31-yard line. But the Raiders picked up 18 yards, I believe, on that carry.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you could have driven a truck through that one. And he made a nice cut there and left Thomas Wallace on the ground.
Yeah, there's Bynum, number 80, and their legs get tangled.
That was a terrific tackle by Chad Bynum. I'm sure the defensive side of Jake would like that one, but the offensive side of him didn't like that one very much.
First down for the Raiders, and he yardage, maybe to the 30.
Making the stop. Second and 10.
So it's still second down, 10 yards to go. First quarter, scoreless game. Ertlejack gets the call. Good running room here to the left side, and Ertlejack made that play happen. Picks up the first down. Finally hit by Lance Logan. I don't know if they're going to have to bring it across to measure or not, but it looks close enough for the first down, and they will.
I'll tell you what, Bob.
And finally dragged down by Lance Logan.
The Wilkinsburg defense has good speed to the boundaries, and the Raiders are having a little bit more trouble getting outside than they have the last couple weeks. Not coming as easily for them today as it has the last couple weeks. It's only 49 seconds left in the first quarter here, so there's been a ton of possession going on here. Twice. I think it's a first down. It is. Or is it? Yes.
First down for the Raiders as Ertlejack makes it happen here on that last carry. Nice job by our cameraman right on the spot. Scoreless first quarter here at Riverside Park. Beautiful sunshiny afternoon, and Raiders are out of the huddle. As Justin Dujak gives to Heekins right up the middle. Heekins inside the 10-yard line. Now they'll mark it on the 10, and he'll pick up, well, maybe 11 yards on the carry. So taking another look at it, the middle of the line just doing its job. And if you look at the two guards and the center for the Raiders, they're doing it for them. LaRue Moore makes the tackle for the Tigers, and it's first down and goal to go for the Raiders. They're just inside the 10. Here's Ertlejack and a penalty flag thrown.
Ertlejack carrying the ball. Appears to be pretty little game on the play.
As the horn sounds the end of the first quarter. And we'll let them unravel this one. We'll take a break, folks. We'll be right back. Scoreless game so far. Well, we have completed one, and Wilkinsburg and Riverview scoreless. The penalty has brought up a second down and goal to go from the 9-yard line.
I don't think there was a penalty. I think that was a leaf falling from one of the trees. So I noticed it too, and it looked like a flag, but
here is a fake by Dujak, keeps the football, and is going to be dropped by Lamar Scales at about the 3-yard line. So a pickup of about 6 on the play.
Well, the reason I noticed there wasn't a penalty is because there wasn't a 10-minute conference with the officials. So that was the automatic giveaway that.
Well, they must have eaten the flag. Third down, goal to go from the 3. Looking at it from the end zone. That's a great shot. And it goes to Fritz Tamburo, gang tackle led by Emmanuel McClendon. Also there was Dave Jones. So the Raiders finding it problematic to get into the end zone. A loss of a yard on that play puts it back at the 4, and it's 4th down. They go for 3 or...
Oh, they're sending in extra big men, so it looks like it's going to be a, they're going to go for it. Mike Catullo, 89's come in, the extra tight end.
So on 4th down and goal to go from the 4.
Ertl-Jack.
Keeping, Dujak throws, and Tamburo bobbles the football. That may have been thrown a little bit hard for the short distance between the two of them. I'm not sure. But Wilkinsburg will take over. One more look at it is Dujak from the end zone as we watch this one.
All the receivers were covered. You see Ertl-Jack was down there, and also Catullo, 89. Lamar Scales was with Ertl-Jack, and that might have been the original plan there.
Justin Dujak was hit when he released the ball. So Wilkinsburg will take over at their own 4. And Darnell Jackson leads the team out of the huddle. And Wilkinsburg from their own 4. So their backs are to the wall here. And a loose ball? No. The give went to Mitchell. There was such great faking that we thought the quarterback still had the ball, but it was Mitchell. And Mitchell, perhaps a yard to the 5. Call it now 2nd and 9 coming up.
Well, Bob, that Wilkinsburg defense is all we heard about. I mean, tough sledding for the Raiders so far, and you can see they're trying to keep it simple on offense and trying to keep their defense in the game.
Scoreless game in the early minutes of the 2nd quarter, and the give goes to C.J. Younger. Younger springs loose at the 30, 35, 40, and up to about the 48-yard line. A 43-yard carry by C.J. Younger. And I'm not sure if he's out of gas or injured. Watch the replay.
It's the old Redskin counter tray, Bob. They caught the Raiders going the wrong way.
That's Lucas Heekins giving pursuit.
And the Wilkinsburg sideline was loving that one.
And they're up to the 48-yard line on that play.
It was Lucas Heekins that got the shoestring.
There's an injury on the play and a break in the action, so we will pause here. Bob Tattern, along with Mike Pavlik from Riverside Park at Oakmont. Scoreless game. We'll be right back. Well, the injured back, C.J. Younger, is okay. He'll sit out at least one play. And they're running now out of the wishbone. And the up man gets the call. That's Lewis Mitchell. And Mitchell, on 1st and 10, wrestled to the ground for a loss of about a yard back at the 47-yard line. Steffi there for the Raiders to make that play. Wilkinsburg has shown some wrinkles in the. They're not sticking to the same old thing, you know.
Right now they're outgaining Riverview 69 to 51 in total yards, which is kind of a surprise. And of course that big run had a lot to do with that. But
scoreless game here in the 2nd quarter. Out of the eye with a slot man left side. Jackson turns and Mitchell again gets the call. Mitchell up to midfield on this play. So he gains about 4, and it will bring up 3rd and about 8. Yeah, because it was 2nd and 11 picking up 3 there. So 3rd and 8 coming up. Just on the Oakmont side of the 50. Younger this time gets the call out of the tailback slot, up over the middle. Gilbert, along with Skillen, combined on that tackle.
Interesting call here now, Bob. They've faked the punt. They've gone for it on 4th down so far.
So they're 0 for 2.
Yeah, they're 0 for 2.
On 4th down conversions anyway.
Not a whole lot of running room there for Younger, not like the first time he got the ball.
And they're not going to, what the hey, it's the 6th game of the year. You're 1 and 4. Let it ride, ump. The pitch back to Younger. Younger looks for a hole, cuts in, and is not going to make it. And the Raiders will take over in their own territory at about the 47 or 48-yard line. So the Wilkinsburg Tigers not punting. And it's going to be marked at the 48. Let's take another look at what happened here that this play broke down.
Well, good contained by Ertlejack. He had to force him back inside. I think he wanted to go outside on the play, but Ertlejack was there.
Put the shoulder to him.
Yeah, he forced him to go back inside, and all the Raiders were there waiting for him and pretty much messed up the play for Wilkinsburg.
First down and 10 for the Raiders at their own 48. Dujak to Heekins. Heekins puts the head down, and I'll tell you what, this Emmanuel McClendon is one whale of a defensive player. He grabbed him real quick, picking up about 2 yards to the 50. Second down after the 2-yard gain. Scoreless game here in the early going of the second quarter. Play shuffling from the bench as Garrett Moore checks into the huddle. Randy Gilbert will come off the playing field for the moment. See if the Raiders go to the air, go deep to Ertlejack. Ertlejack is down. Dujak throws. Ertlejack with the ball. Gets a block. Ertlejack 35-30. And Ertlejack is off to the races. Well, I'll tell you what, that play had all the makings of a disaster because Dujak seemed to be trapped for the moment. Got rid of the football. Then Ertlejack had to get a key block to spring loose. And I'll tell you what, he put a few Fred Astaire moves on his defender and got the ball into the end zone as we watch from the end zone. Dujak, here's disaster number 1. He escapes him, puts the ball under his arm like he's going to go, then releases the ball. Caught by Ertlejack. He got around Lamar Scales, got a good block.
It was a great block by Bynum, I think, Bob. Athletic ability makes up for a lot of mistakes, and there was a great athletic play by Dujak on the pass and a great play by Ertlejack.
So the point after here by Heekins and Ertlejack holding. The kick is no good. 6-0 is the score. A break in the action. We'll be right back.
Back here at Riverside Park with the Raiders leading it 6-0, and Lucas Heekins getting ready to kick off after that 51-yard touchdown pass from Dujak to Ertlejack.
A 47-yard drive or 53-yard drive by Riverview on that touchdown. Finally picked up there by Scales. Scales just kind of snuck through there. I think getting a handout. Let's grab that number here. Josh Walsh stuck a hand. I'm not sure that he was able to trip him up, but he got a handout there. Wilkinsburg at their own 24, trailing 6-0 in the game. We're in the second quarter. Under 6 minutes to play in this period.
I think the players are trying to get used to the dry field. It's a little bit unusual for them.
I know. Jackson with the ends in tight. And the wishbone. Or the Y formation. The carry was by Scales. And T.J. Skillen put the wraps on. No gain on the play. Watch Skillen come in here and do it right there. Also assisted on the tackle So it's second down and a little bit better than 10 yards to go. This time they're running out of the eye. Younger with the ball, and among others, Fritz Tamburo, number 34, Chad Bynum, number 80, and 40. I'm not sure what that number is. Is that? It is 49. Josh Walsh, who made part of that tackle. So a gain of about 1.5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 9 coming up now.
On that play, Bob, Younger grabbed the hold of the jersey of his big lineman, Vernon Glover, and just went for a ride, except there were too many Raiders in the hole, and he wasn't able to get anywhere.
A wide out to the right in David Jones. Jackson rolling to his right. He's looking. He's going to run the football and has the first down and run out of bounds at the Wilkinsburg 43-yard line. Chad Bynum was over there for the Raiders. I thought Darnell Jackson may have been trapped back there, but when you watch the replay from the end zone.
You talked about athletic ability before. This is just flat-out speed.
All right, he still has the arm as though he may throw it. And the Raiders, hesitate a bit here before trying to come up here with this tackle. So 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. And Mitchell one more time off the right side. Riverview left side defensively. Short yardage, 2nd and 9 from the 43. Riverview next Friday night will visit Clairton.
That's the big one.
Well, it was scoreless in the first quarter, 6-0 Riverview right now. And Wilkinsburg
fumbled it.
Fumbles the ball. Heekins will pick it up, and Lucas Heekins is on his way. Boy, we got to look at that one again. Got to look at that one again.
Bob, I think what happened was when he was going down, the ball popped up. I mean, I don't even know if it ever hit the ground, and Heekins was standing right there, and just picked it up 44 yards. No one ever touched him.
And suddenly it's a 12-0 game. They say Randy Gilbert was responsible for jarring the ball loose. So that's a 12-0 game.
We'll see if they go for 2 here because they missed the first extra point. It looks like they are.
So Riverview in the 2-point try. Gunning for 2. Pitch back to Tamburo. Tamburo will not make it. He fumbled the ball. So it's going to remain a 12-0 game. Riverview in the lead. We have a break in the action with the Raiders in the lead. We'll be right back. We're back at Riverside Park. The Raiders, on the touchdown by Lucas Heekins, made it a 12-0 game. 44 yards unofficially, I guess.
That's as official as it's going to get.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happened to Wilkinsburg on this play. Gilbert, there it is. Just simply picked up, yep. And he's off and running.
Gilbert looked like he pulled his arm back. The ball did hit the ground.
Here's the kick. Scales at the 18. Oh, the Raiders with Bob Pica coming in late, too. I don't know if I should say late. Dave Upfall was there to make the tackle initially. First down now for the the Wilkinsburg Tigers at their own 27. we go with a single setback for Jackson. Double reverse, and it goes back to Jackson. Jackson steps up, runs into his own man, and then is going to be held onto at about the 22-yard line. Let's see which one of the Raiders made all this happen here defensively as they broke loose. Justin Dujak.
Boy, Bob, that was ugly.
Well, you know, I love the experimentation here by the Tigers.
That's pretty much what that was, experimentation. Looks like they drew that one up in the dirt over at the bench. He did.
Man wide open, but they were not able to get the pass off. So second down after the loss of 4 and 14. They're running out of the eye, and the quarterback Jackson keeping the football. Fires, and this one is caught at the 30-yard line and run out of bounds near the 33 is the receiver Lewis Mitchell. So Lewis Mitchell makes the play, and he's up to the 32-yard line. And they'll need another 5 yards, maybe 4. 3rd and 4 from the 33. This time Lonnie Scales goes out wide right on 3rd down. Here's the pitch back. C.J. Younger with a football, and he has the first down at about the 38.
All right, Bob, the Tigers now with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left till halftime.
A Riverview man hurt, and he doesn't, it doesn't look good here. Look at the replay.
I think it's Lucas Heekins, Bob.
Oh, they fell right on top of him. So with a break in the action, we're going to pause right here. 12-0, Riverview in the lead, and we'll be right back to Riverview. 12-0 Riverview here in the late minutes of period 2. In fact, about 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, 2:20 to go. Lucas Heekins, under his own power, comes to the bench. A little bit of a limp. But since he was able to come off on his own, that's good news.
You would think Wilkinsburg would try to get back in this one here at the late minutes of this first half with some passing. Jackson with a man after him. He's going to keep the football. He's up at the 40. Boy, there was a bone-crunching hit over there by Dujak. But the gain on the play gives him about 4 yards, make it 2nd and 6. Dujak coming over, he's at the left of your picture. Now he's out of it, but he'll be back in soon. It is Jackson still in a position to throw the football. Now changes arms, and here's Dujak. Look at that.
Well, he gets to the corner in a hurry, though.
And Jake Keppa probably said, tell me when you're going to do stuff like that. He almost ran Jake over. Second and 6. Pass completed on the flat to Younger. Younger is going to be dropped. But forward progress will get him to the 46. It'll be 4th and about maybe 3. Let's make it 3rd and 2. Timeout's going to be called by Wilkinsburg with 1 minute and a few odd seconds remaining.
There's Heekins on the bench, and they're working on the, looks like his right shin, maybe the ankle. That's the second timeout by Wilkinsburg, by the way. They have 1 left, and a minute and 44 left till halftime, so they have some time to try to get something on the board here.
We'll select PNC MVP for the game. We'll announce that near the conclusion. PNC Bank, where performance counts. Thank you, Mike. So, and next Friday night, we're at Burrell. First time we're going to watch the Burrell Bucks this year. And they are, I think they're playing Pine Richland.
Right, Bucks lost last night to North Catholic 28-7, and Richland lost to Highlands 42-0. So we'll have two teams hungry for a victory.
Wilkinsburg on 3rd and short at their own 46. And this time, this fancy play gives the football to Chaz Clemens. And they're going to lose yardage on this one. They're back now to their own 43-yard line. So it is now 4th and about 4.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, they're not leaving anything in the playbook.
Well, the quarterback was able to get him out, but there's both Tamburo and Dujak, and it was Dujak that brought him down.
And Skillen made the play. He was in there and made the runner cut back when he didn't want to.
Jackson on 4th down, cuts inside, and he's awfully close to a first down before Ethan Gigler makes the tackle for the Raiders.
Boy, this Darnell Jackson's a very impressive runner, Bob. He has some moves and has terrific speed.
Don't stop the clock, just move the chains. Why would they want to measure?
Well, it's possible Jake asked for it.
Well, okay. Take another look. Jackson keeps the ball. Dujak blocked out of the play, and there's pursuit by T.J. Skillen, and then finally it was Ethan Gigler who made the play.
It looked like he was stopped about 3 different times on that one.
I'm reading a note here that was left for Joe, who did not make the game today. It's a first down by a mile. It says to Joe, last week you gave a plug for Arnold. Ethan Gigler has roots in Arnold. That's for certain. Grandfather is Frank Gigler Sr. The uncle is Frank Gigler Jr. The dad is Paul Gigler. And the little note here continues, never stop plugging Arnold, a great place to grow up. And I might add, I won't read the rest.
Guess you're going to skip that part, huh?
I won't read the rest. Here is a give to Lewis Mitchell.
He fumbled it.
And I believe the Raiders have recovered. Yeah, maybe getting a little bit too fancy here. And again, we're in the late stages of the second quarter, but Dujak back in action. 12-0 lead here by the Raiders.
Here's another one they drew up on the bus on the way in. That was the fake reverse there.
Holding on for dear life, Mike Catullo on that tackle.
And it looked like, I think Matt Geppert, 30, might have got his hand in there and knocked the ball loose. But the Raiders have 35 seconds, and with their offense, that's plenty of time.
So the Raiders are at the Wilkinsburg 49. Dujak has Chad Bynum out here to the right. And Bynum, it's a little bit too deep, and defending out there was Chaz Clemens, that is.
That was the send Ertlejack deep and throw it as far as you can play.
You know, I think that's probably the first pass that I can say that Dujak was off by more than a little bit.
I'll tell you what, we mentioned.
Of all the games we watched.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. We
Not
mentioned
just today, yeah.
He's been, for a first-year starter, I don't think you can call him a rookie anymore.
Second down and 10. Time running out here in the opening quarter. We're down to about, 27? The rush is on. Dujak steps up, goes deep. He's got a man out there. It is caught. There's Ertlejack into the end zone. And it's an 18-0 game, just like that. Dujak, and if you look at the replay, Dujak was almost hit on the play before releasing the ball. Watch it here. Now, Dujak, right there, he's got to step up, and bingo, he'll pay for it. He got hit by 2 of them, but he lets it fly, and there's Ertlejack on the dead run, hit by Chaz Clemens, and then into the end zone for the touchdown, and the Raiders now lead it 18-0. Now, you know they got to go for 2. First of all, Heekins has got a questionable leg as we watch from the end zone. Late moments of the first quarter.
But 2 touchdown passes to Ertlejack, one of 51, the other of 49. That's the only 2 completions that Dujack has in the game.
Heekins did not get in on the 2-point try. So it's still an 18-0 game. And the Raiders hold on to the lead.
And there's only 20 seconds to go till halftime.
So we'll see what happens here in the kickoff if we get the team out here kind of quick. "20 seconds remaining in this second quarter, and the Raiders lead it 18-0.
That's the Raiders' second 2-play touchdown drive of the game. Or earlier in this quarter, they had a 53-yard drive on 2 plays, and this was a 49-yard drive on 2 plays. So they're trying to keep it efficient.
The Raiders scored in the middle of the first quarter, late. What quarter was this one in? Second? Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
they're all in the second. They're all within the last 6 minutes.
Low kick. And Wilkinsburg will fall on it at the 33. This will be the final play of the period. Quarterback in your picture there, Darnell Jackson. And they're out of the huddle in what should be the final play of this second quarter. And the clock won't start until they snap it.
Unlike the old days.
And they're going to pass. They go deep, and it's going to be intercepted by Ertlejack. Ertlejack at the 40, 45, 50. 40, I'm sorry, it was Chad Bynan. And Bynan dropped at the 43. And the Raiders want to call a timeout. We will too. We'll call a timeout. We'll be right back. Well, we're down to the last few seconds of this second quarter. Riverview leading 18-0. Fumble. Dujack picks it up. So the busted play will get him up to the 41. And a reminder that the Raiders had called a timeout right before that play. So the Raiders will end the first half with an 18-0 lead. All of the scoring came in the second quarter. I want you to stand by because we'll have the Raider band coming out on the field momentarily. Here's how the scoring went. The first quarter and a half went without a score. The Raiders did not score until 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. And that was when Dujack unleashed a 51-yard scoring toss to Ertlejack, and the kick was wide left, and the Raiders held on to a 6-0 lead. About 2.5 minutes later, Lucas Heekins on a 44-yard fumble return. Kind of hard to describe what happened. All that we can recall from the play was that Wilkinsburg's ball carrier was almost downed when the ball popped loose, and that was made possible on a hit by Randy Gilbert. And it so happened that Lucas Heekins was right there, and he picked up the ball and ran it in 44 yards. And again, they tried the 2-point play, and it fails. I believe that was a pass that failed.
Right, they were looking in the corner of the end zone for Ertlejack and
or Tamburo.
And you're right.
And then in the second quarter, just moments ago with 20 seconds to play, Ertlejack on a 49-yard pass from Dujack, he has 100 yards on those 2 touchdowns alone. And this time they gave it to Heekins to try to run in for the 2-point play, and that failed. And so it's an 18-0 game here at the half. The next telecast for the Comcast Cablevision crew will be Friday night when the Borough Bucks host the Richland Rams. And you'll see that game Friday night at 9 o'clock on Comcast Cable, and a Saturday morning replay at 10. So just looking at Ertlejack, and I don't know, Mike, what his total yards in passing are for the game, but he has 100 on the 2 touchdowns here tonight, 51, or this afternoon, 51 on the first touchdown pass, and then 49 on the second. So for the year, Ertlejack has at least 414 yards.
On 20 catches.
On 20. So those are only 2 catches today?
It's the only 2 completed passes that Dujak's had in the ball game, and they're both long touchdowns. He's averaging, Justin Dujak is averaging 50 yards per completion this afternoon.
Well, that's the story on the scoring here at the half. And as we mentioned, the Raider band will be coming out momentarily. So we'll take another pause, and we'll be back. More high school football coming up. We're at halftime. The Riverview Raiders have an 18-0 lead, and we focus our attention downfield and the Raider marching band. Here they come. tell you what, some of the prettiest smiles you will ever see occur here at Riverside Park in Oakmont as the band has concluded its performance. Just about set for the halftime report, brought to you by Jimmy G's Restaurant, located in the heart of Aspinwall. Jimmy G's offers an American menu brimming with appetizers, sandwiches, chef specialties, and savory entrees, including freshly prepared Norwegian salmon every night of the week. Oh, brother, come on and dine in casual elegance at Jimmy G's in Aspinwall. You can call them at 781-4884. That's 781-4884 to top off your Saturday evening. Take a charming carriage tour of Aspinwall and make that call at 781-4884. Mike?
All right, Bob, and as we see, a little bit of a different story on the statistical page today. Wilkinsburg has 6 first downs to the Raiders 5. They've outrushed the Raiders 105 to 55. Passing as far as completions go is pretty even. 2 for 4 for Wilkinsburg and 2 for 5 for Riverview, but 10 yards for Wilkinsburg and 100 for the Raiders. 115 total yards for the Tigers, and the Raiders with 155. Wilkinsburg unpenalized in the first half. The Raiders had 2 for 20, but the big stat again, as usual, the turnovers. Wilkinsburg's turned it over 3 times, and the Raiders have not. Individually for Riverview, Justin Dujak has completed 2 of 5, as we mentioned, 100 yards, all to Ben Erdeljak. Erdeljak has also carried it 3 times for 29 yards, so he's touched the ball 5 times for 129 yards. Pretty impressive. Damian Heekins has 5 carries for 22 yards, and Fritz Tamburo 2 carries for only 4. For Wilkinsburg, Darnell Jackson, 2 for 4 passing, 10 yards, and 1 interception. He's carried it 7 times for 19, and he's, as we mentioned, very impressive and a very speedy man to the corner. C.J. Younger, 7 carries, 58 yards. Lewis Mitchell, 11 carries for 30. Lonnie Scales has 1 for 3. Lamar Scales has 1 for -1, and Chaz Clemens 1 for -4. C.J. Younger's caught 1 pass for 0, and Lewis Mitchell caught the other one, and that's where the 10 yards come in. As the Raiders, as we mentioned, finding it a little bit tougher. That's a very good Wilkinsburg defense out there, and the most points that they've given up in any game this year, as we mentioned, has been 14 up till this point, and the Raiders put 18 up in the first half.
All right. Halftime report here brought to you by Jimmy G's, located in Aspinwall. And we'll be back with our third quarter kickoff after this timeout. And as we start our third quarter, Riverview leading 18-0. All of the points scored in the second period. Teeing up the football is Lewis Mitchell. And this will be the first Wilkinsburg, actually the second.
First.
You're right. Wilkinsburg's first kickoff of the day. Mitchell, short kick. And it'll bounce in the Raiders. That thing took a reverse bounce and covered by Josh Walsh. So that ball, had it been caught by Wilkinsburg, had traveled the necessary 10 yards. So the Raiders jump on it just over the 30-yard line. We'll call it the 30 and make it a 1st and 10 as we begin period 3. Wilkinsburg on the year has won but the 1 game, and they have lost 4 overall. They are 0-3 in section play. Here's a give to Fritz Tamburo. Cuts to the right. Tamburo in the open at the 50. 45-40. They may not get him. Tamburo is off to the races, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. And you look back for some yellow, but a 70-yard touchdown run by Tamburo opens second quarter play. I'm sorry, third quarter play. So very quickly, the Raiders expand the lead to 24-0. I would hate to suggest to Jake that he do something more thrilling like he did a few years ago at the Miracle at the Park, but these games are not being much of a challenge here for Raider opposition. Chaz Clemens.
There's a good block by Ertlejack downfield. The wide receivers don't get enough credit on those.
Yeah, Lonnie Scales blocked out of the play, and then finally, Chad Biden takes out Lance Logan. So here we go for the two-point try. Dujak. Same guy on that blind side. It's Andre Williams, number 59. And the Raider lead remains 24-0. So it only took 15 seconds of playing time in the second half to get the first touchdown up on the board.
I'd call that efficient. Pitt used to have a basketball player named Andre Williams back in the 80s. He was not a half-bad player for them back then.
So Riverview's Lucas Heekins, who sustained a bit of a leg injury in the second quarter, is out there teeing up the football. He's probably had that rubbed out and everything. So the Raider coaches on the sidelines and their trainers, the body men, so to speak, rubbed out that dent. And he's like new. Here goes Heekins, and the kick at about the 18-yard line. Lamar Scales on the return. Wow, not a bad return by Scales to the 38. Upfall for the Raiders among those on the tackle. Dujak was also there. And Sycon also cited for his part in that tackle. So it's a 1st and 10 for Wilkinsburg at their own 38, trailing 24-0.
We noticed the introduction of the Comcast box up in the left-hand corner of your screen. We're ahead of NBC now, folks.
Gosh, don't say anything. They might come back at us. Here's C.J. Younger losing some yardage back to the 35. Speaking of the box, loss on the play. Taking a look at the replay. Coming around, C.J. Younger. And there he is. Second and 13. C.J. Younger again, and wrapped up pretty good. And Sam Glover, along with Gilbert, bring him down at about the 36-yard line, so we're still long yardage. Third and about 12.
The 50-50 drawing for $211 is won by the holder of this numbered ticket. Number 303491.
Third and long here for Wilkinsburg, running out of the I, strong side to the right. And the fake. Here is Darnell Jackson throwing the football and almost.
Pass incomplete to Logan, broken up there.
And the receiver was Lewis Mitchell. Unless I've got the number wrong.
We've been impressed so far with Darnell Jackson. You can see it's just a little sprint out to the left. And as he was looking for Mitchell, the pass was dropped by Mitchell as Dujak was coming up on him. But we were talking about Jackson. He's only a freshman. And you would expect there are a lot of good things to be coming in Wilkinsburg football when you have a freshman quarterback who is looking so impressive.
Fourth down, and the Raiders are going to pounce on a loose football on a bad snap on the punt.
Antoine Nelson was back to punt, and the snap was airmailed to Verona.
So Riverview has recovered. I'll have to wait and see where they set the ball down. I'm not sure if that's inside the 15 or inside the 10, even though they're...
Yeah, it looks like it's the 8.
Now they are first and goal from the 8. Riverview in the lead. There's the play as we recap it for you. They're already inside the 10 right there, and there is the recovery by the Raiders. We're taking advantage of some turnovers here. This is Heekins, and Heekins inside the 5 to near the 2-yard line. And Emmanuel McClendon dishes out the Wilkinsburg hit. Simple play. And again, just keeping your head down. Lance Logan assisted on the tackle. So second and goal from about the 2.5. And Fritz Tamburo is into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Raiders now lead it by 30-0.
Score is now 30-0 in favor of Riverview.
Here we go, a cheering Raider fan.
He also is only a freshman.
Tamburo gets the call, and I will now make a cut to his left. And
starting to push him back now, Bob. You see the burst of the Riverview line starting to take its toll a little bit on Wilkinsburg. The defense has been on the field a lot. That's 4 carries and 77 yards for Fritz Tamburo.
So the 2-point try with Heekins carrying the mail. They're short. The official signal is no, he did not make it. So the lead will remain 30-0, and they have failed on the kick.
4
and the
two-pointers.
rest of the touchdowns, have all been 2-point attempts.
Looks like Jake's going to keep trying it till they get it right.
30-0, Riverview in the lead. Third quarter, and this guy's getting a lot of airtime.
He must know someone in upper management. I think everyone's just happy that they didn't have to bring the rain gear out this week.
Well, this is, even for the opposition, Wilkinsburg, the fact that they've only won one, they still draw a good-sized football crowd here at Riverview. People with lawn chairs. I know some of these folks sit in the same seats every week.
Some of them don't even go home. They just put the chairs there and stay there the whole week.
Here's Heekins on the kickoff. Taken at the 16-yard line by Lamar Scales. And he advances the football short of the 30, near the 28. So Josh Nestor, number 45, there for the Raiders on the tackle.
Again, that number for the 50-50 drawing, 3034991. Have that matching ticket number brings to the announcement stand at this time. Pick up your $211.
First and 10 here for Wilkinsburg at their own 28. Better make it to 27. First and 10 at the Wilkinsburg 27. Here's the give. I believe it's Lonnie Scales. And he may have the first down. And Uncle Ben makes the play for Riverview. They've signaled the first down. Jackson gives. And it's always been rather nothing up the middle. And Wilkinsburg doesn't fare any better this time. Carrying on the play was Lamar Scales.
Scales carrying the ball, 2nd and 9.
So they get about a yard to the 39. Leroy Hall, the center for Wilkinsburg. Stumbling over the 40 is Scales again. This time Lamar Scales, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
Another freshman.
And another yard or so. Third and an 8-yard situation here for Wilkinsburg. A lot of underclassmen on this Tiger team for 96. And this will bring up 4th down. That time it was Lonnie Scales who carried the football. 4th and about 6 or 6.5. And it appears Wilkinsburg will go for it here.
Yeah,
in fact, Mike, I don't know that they punted all day.
well, not considering the punt snap they had on the last one, I'd go for it too.
Younger tries the left side, but Mike Catula was there, and he put the stop on that one real quick.
Raiders take over on down. First down, Riverview on the 42.
So they'll spot the football at the Wilkinsburg 42. I can't read that clock, Mike, to save my life.
It looks like 5.5. But if you didn't know the score and you asked someone to read the score, you couldn't see that. The sun is right in it.
Here's Dujak over center, 1st and 10, the Raiders at the Wilkinsburg 42. And here's Heekins, dodges a tackler, dodges another. Springs loose up to about the 27.
Catch by number 2, Chaz Clemens. But it is a Raider first down.
So the Raiders pick up another first down and keep grinding it out. They lead in the game 30-zip. We're in the middle of the 3rd quarter. T formation, the fullback Heekins gets the call. Heekins knocking over Lance Logan on the way to pick up just a couple of more yards. And, well, a couple of yards meaning about 6 to 6.5.
I always like to see the running back deliver the blow instead of take the blow.
7 yards on the carry will give him, so it's 2nd and 3. Tambureau flanked wide right. Breaking through is Heekins, and he's run out of bounds.
And it appears as though he's picking up a first down, driven out of bounds by number 33, T.J. Younger. This is the last call for the 50-50 drawing for number 303-491.
See Heekins sweeping off the left side, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line. And the Raiders look like they're going in for another one, and you got to figure that if they score here, that you might start to see the bench emptied out. But the way things have been going the last couple of weeks, the second stringers have been getting more playing time than the starters.
I wonder how much resistance the official had into pulling the flag out for a late hit on that play.
I think they just want to keep it going.
1st and 10. Heekins gets the call again, and springs inside the 5, and the official takes a bit of a hit there. Depending on the play, Chaz Clemens, and well, the Raiders could pick up another first down, but they're going to do it at the 1-foot line. So 5 yards here gives them possibly 4.
It's been all Heekins on this drive. 4 runs, 16, 6, 10, and 6.
Here we go. Dujak over center now with Heekins and Tambureau in the backfield. Eakins gets the call and will be dragged down for a loss on the play. Let's see, it happens back near the 10-yard line.
And Anonymous has won the $211.
Third down here for the Raiders. They're near the 7 or 8 yard line. And the give this time goes to Matt Geppert, number 30. And Geppert coming to his left. They've constantly run on that side of the Wilkinsburg defense. So it'll bring up fourth down. And the kicker's going to remain on the bench. They're going to go for the 6.
Probably just try to keep it in the middle of the field here and see if they can crank some time also.
I don't think that they're concerned about adding points onto the game here, but this is a given right here. And running with the football, Jason Orban. He doesn't make it into the end zone, and Wilkinsburg will take over. We have a break in the action, and the Raiders continue to hold on to the lead. Bob Tattern here. We'll be right back. The Raiders did not make it on fourth down, so Wilkinsburg will take over at their 2. Wilkinsburg trailing here at Riverside Park. And here comes the Tiger offense led by Darnell Jackson at quarterback. They try the left side, or their left side, the right side of the Riverview defense. And perhaps got to the line of scrimmage. C.J. Younger on the carry. Losing about a yard, make it 3rd and 11. And this is such a dangerous territory to want to throw the football.
And they used up all of their trick plays in the first half, so I don't think they have any of those left.
The give to Chaz Clemens may have just gotten over the goal line. I'm not sure if that was a safety or not.
They're giving it, I'll tell you what, they have it just outside of the goal line, and definitely a situation where a friendly spot from the men in stripes.
There it is on the replay as Wilkinsburg just gets out of the end zone and
barely.
Jeez. You'd use tweezers to pull that one apart.
I think one stitch of the ball was over the goal line.
3rd and 11. Well, let's see what happens here. Lewis Mitchell got the call. And Zanella it is that makes the play defensively for Riverview. Well, Wilkinsburg's Lewis Mitchell is the punt man.
Andre Williams is the snapper here.
The kick is away. It is fielded by Jason Orban. Orban brought down near the 20-yard line of Wilkinsburg. And I guess we're inside a minute.
It's right about a minute
of the 3rd quarter to play. As we mentioned, next weekend, the Raiders with a tougher test as they travel on to Clairton. Our game of the week next weekend will be Burl at home with Richland.
And Earl Belisario is coming to the game to play quarterback for the Raiders, number 27.
Here are the Raiders at the Wilkinsburg 20. Man started too quick. And it's going to be a call back on this play. The Raiders picked up about 5, but the left halfback jumped.
In the past, we've seen Lucas Heekins come in to replace Dujak late in games, but after he had hurt himself in the first half, we see Earl Belisario coming in.
So that'll move the ball back 5 yards and make it 1st and 15. They're going to bring it back to the 25-yard line. Number 31, a new number in the lineup, and that's William Anderson. And he gets the call and gets a couple of yards inside the 25, near the 22. Bring up 3rd down and about 13. Oh, beg your pardon. 2nd down, 13. Belisario carrying. And Earl Belisario hit for a loss in the play. And the sticks will be brought back to the 26-yard line. 3rd and about 16, if not more.
Well, we have the Raiders emptying off the bench here late in the 3rd quarter, but the problem with Wilkinsburg is there isn't a whole lot of bench to empty off.
3rd quarter has come to an end. The break in the action. Riverview ahead by 30-0. We'll be back with more right after this. We'll start our 4th and final quarter. It is 3rd and 16. New quarterback for the Raiders, Earl Belisario. Handed off, and loose football. It was given, I believe, to, I'm not sure if it was Matt Geppert or not.
Well, I know Anderson fell on it, and just in the nick of time because there was a Wilkinsburg man ready for it.
The ball's going to be marked at the 27-yard line, so they did lose 2 more yards, make it 4th, maybe a yard loss, 4th and 17. And very quickly in there was Wilkinsburg covering on the play. 4th and 17. Belisario at quarterback. And Anderson puts his head down here and gets back some of the yardage, but not enough of it. And then some. So Wilkinsburg will take over. And we have a Wilkinsburg injury. He wanted the official to help him up, but the official said just lay there and we'll get somebody out here to look at you. Pretty hard to say who it is that is out there, but the official didn't.
We have our man Omar Battle on the case here. He's going to get it for us.
$30 to nothing, as you see on the screen in the 4th quarter, and we have just begun the final period.
Another look at the Comcast box there. We'll have Chopper 3 out next weekend.
Well, he won it up. I thought this was not going to be a long injury timeout, but They're taking their time with whomever it is. Well, if you've just tuned in, the Raiders did most of the damage in the second quarter, getting 18 points. And here in the second half, actually, in the third period, they pick up 2 more touchdowns. And in each case, they have yet to make an extra point. The first on a kick, which went wide, and then every play thereafter, they've tried a 2-pointer that somehow didn't make it. So the injured player is number 80 for Wilkinsburg, David Jones, and they're tending to him right now. Next Friday night, we've got another interesting game for you. The Richland Rams will visit the Borough Bucks, and we'll have it for you Friday night at 9, Saturday morning on the replay at 10.
It was Emmanuel McClendon, number 89, was the injured player. Richland and Borough, 2 teams that moved up from Double-A last year, and finding it difficult. Of course, Richland found it difficult when they were still in Double-A, and it's not the one jump in classification makes it a lot harder for these teams.
So Wilkinsburg now first down, 10 yards to go from their own 20-yard line. Here's a pitch back, and running with the football, Lamar Scales. Let's see, for Riverview, Josh Nestor. So second down and about 9 for Wilkinsburg right here. Ends are in tight. Here's the pitch back, and trapped in the backfield is Lance Logan.
Wilkinsburg is trying to avoid being shut out for the 4th time this year already. And they've also been shut out twice in a row. To Clareton 2 weeks ago, 7-0. And last week they were shut out by Springdale 3-0.
3rd and long here for the Tigers at their own 27. Quarterback with a fake, being chased. And he found a way to get away from Josh Nestor. But then other black shirts were pursuing, including Garrett Moore. And it'll be a punt formation here, as it'll be 4th and about 19 for Wilkinsburg. 4th and 19 coming up.
This is where the network announcers would say that Darnell Jackson has great escapability. But since I've yet to find that word in the dictionary, I'm not going to say that one. But he is nifty back there, and as we said, he's only a freshman, so there's definitely a bright future ahead for Darnell Jackson.
And Zach Vacaris was also in on the tackle for Riverview, and another timeout has been called.
Taken by Wilkinsburg.
Taken by the Wilkinsburg Tigers, so we've got a break in the action here as well, folks. We'll be right back. Fourth down for the Wilkinsburg Tigers, and they will punt the football. Short kick, not very high, bouncing, and they're going to let it roll dead over the 40-yard line. So it's at the 42, and Riverview will put it in play.
Ball is on dead at the 42.
And so the Raiders, with a huge lead, again have the football, and hopefully would be wise enough to keep it on the ground to shorten up this 4th quarter somewhat.
Hopefully the fellas can keep their tempers under control. It looked like it started to flare a little bit there as the players went down for that punt. So, and a game that's this far out of hand, you never know.
So again, the quarterback Earl Balisario, straight tee, with the ends in tight, and the give is to William Anderson. Anderson breaks loose, and finally dropped by LaRue Moore. But he's down to the 17-yard line. 25 yards on that play. And a first down for the Raiders to boot.
Check out the burst. He gets through that hole in a hurry. Dragging Chaz Clemens there for a while, and finally LaRue Moore makes the tackle, but definitely a burst from William Anderson.
What's up, Comcat?
We thank Justin Dujak for that greeting and salutation.
So for the Raiders, it's at the 17, first down and 10. Earl Balisario has the straight T formation with the ends in tight. And a handoff again to Anderson. Anderson is inside the 15, down to about the 14-yard line. Here comes somebody else walking over to the microphone. Okay, I see it now.
William Anderson's picked up 36 yards on 5 carries here today, so some good playing time for the Raider backups.
Anderson this time runs to the right, is at the 20, and a good open field tackle. Gets the ball down to the 10-yard line. I think the tackle was made by Lamar Scales, number 22. So it's at the 10, third down and about 3.
Watch the block by number 18, Steve Sycon, on the right side of your screen here, coming out of the backfield. He just takes a man that's about twice as big as him and pancakes him.
Defensively, 89 in your picture. That Emmanuel McClendon was the gentleman hurt earlier in this quarter. Here's a pitch out. Anderson one more time. Looks. Ooh. Hit and hit hard. Lewis Mitchell, number 44, put the big hit on him at about the 6-yard line, but it's a first and goal.
It's a first down and goal from the 6 for the Raiders.
We heard a lot from big Emmanuel McClendon earlier in the game, but we haven't been calling his number a lot lately until that last play.
So from the 6-yard line, first and goal. A 30-0 lead by the Raiders in this one. Anderson struggling near the 5-yard line. Pushed back. It's getting a little bit nasty. Forward progress will put it at the 4, and it's second and goal from the 4.
This must be the William Anderson series. They had the Damian Heekins series earlier, and Anderson's carried it on all 5 plays of this drive so far. It started at the Wilkinsburg 42. Just under 6 minutes to go in the game, with the Raiders leading it 30-0.
And it started out with a scoreless quarter and a half before the Raiders got on the board. Anderson the opposite side and is into the end zone for the touchdown. So the Raiders tack on another 6. One more time here as Anderson gets the call, goes off the left side, and
Riverview.
Anderson left, Anderson right, and Anderson up the middle.
2-point try coming up again here.
Maybe 5th time's a charm.
Balisario over center. And I believe Josh Walsh, number 49, got the call and picked up the 2 points. 38-0 on that one. And a reminder, at the conclusion of the game, we will announce our selection for the outstanding player of the game, and that'll be the the PNC Bank Award for the MVP. PNC Bank is where performance counts to begin with. We're just looking.
This is a toughie this week, folks. They've let everybody get in on the action.
So the Raiders will kick off here. We're a bit better than midway through this fourth and final quarter. And the ball will be set at the 40-yard line for the Raider kickoff as Ertlejack will do the honors. And I guess they're going to relax the leg of Lucas Heekins. And here we go. Ertlejack, nice high kickoff. Looking into the sun, the catch made at the 18 on the return. And on the return, Chaz Clemens across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Orban was there.
We have a man down here for the Tigers. So Ertlejack kicks off too, huh?
That's the man who ran it back, Chaz Clemens, and apparently he got hit pretty good. And so Wilkinsburg will start from their 36-yard line. I know we've got the Raiders at least one more time. They will play Greensburg Central Catholic on this field in 2 weeks.
Right, next week they'll be at Clareton for the big showdown next Friday night, and then in 2 weeks here at Riverside Park against Greensburg Central, and they close it out on the 25th, Friday night at Leechburg.
All right, and the Comcast Saturday game the week after that will feature Deer Lakes playing at Shadyside. Chaz Clemens getting a lot of attention here with the collision following that kickoff return, and Wilkinsburg will have it at their own 36-yard line. And the clock has stopped, obviously, with the attention here given to Clemens. 38-0, Riverview leading here late in the game. And if you look over their scores, if you don't mind, Mike, can I double check something here? Riverview has scored the most it has scored in this game. They have scored in every game at least 34 points. The game that they lost to Rochester was 16-0. They didn't score at all. So coming back, they have won 3 consecutive games. Duquesne, Springdale, Sarah Catholic, and of course Wilkinsburg is the next hunk of beef to be hung in the freezer. So 4 in a row since that loss. And I'll tell you what, this guy by Kelly Osiora would not let this guy get by him at all. He just hung him up early. Forward progress, the 33. Whew. So C.J. Younger hit hard on that play.
I think the Tigers are finding out that it's instead of getting easier as the game goes along, it's getting tougher.
So back at the 33, it's a 2-yard loss, 2nd down and 12. From the eye, it goes into the hands of the tailback, and that is Lamar Scales. And he gets about 3 yards on the play. Bring up 3rd and 9, and another injury on the field.
That was the man that ran the ball, Bob. Lamar Scales, it looked like he got bent back by one of the Raider tacklers. It looked like somebody had him down low, and he was bent back, and you can see he's holding the small of his back there down by the belt. and he got bent backwards, and that couldn't have felt too good at all.
So another timeout. A reminder, next Friday night, our game will feature the Borough Bucks hosting, well, I'm trying to think of their nickname. The Rams.
The
there
Rams.
you go. The Rams of Richland.
Yeah,
you'll see that game Friday night at 9 and the Saturday morning replay at 10 here on Comcast Cable Channel 3.
Burrell's only win this year came in that upset against Katanning a couple of weeks ago.
Let's take another look at that play, Mike, in which you had mentioned this guy gets bent back a little bit here.
They're down 9 for the Tigers.
You can see right there the Raiders get him, and
I
looked like
doing Dave Upall, number 50.
Yeah, and he came in there, and they're trying to tackle the man. There's not a whole lot they can do about it in a situation like that. And when you have the human body isn't meant to bend that way. And they're going to take extra care of Lamar Scales here and make sure everything's in good order before they get him up. The training staffs always want to be careful in situations like this. And he's okay.
Did a nice job.
Those are scary.
Yep, Lamar Scales advancing the football only 3 yards, but it brings up now a 3rd and 9.
I think the first really bad injury like that I can remember was Darryl Stingley in an exhibition game for the Patriots against the Raiders back in the 70s. And he was, of course, left in a wheelchair in that game. And as we mentioned, it was only an exhibition game. Now the Tigers want timeout here.
So Wilkinsburg calls the timeout. And again, we have 3rd and 9.
And thankfully, the Tigers only have 1 timeout left. And there's 4:35 left on the scoreboard clock. Yeah, Jake's looking up to the booth right now. And I think we might see, we might have a little bit more liberal interpretation of the scoreboard here in the final 4.5 minutes of this game. As Jake looked up along with one of the officials here to the booth with the clock operator, and very possibly, the officials and the teams get together. You got to be worried about Wilkinsburg right now. They've got quite a few guys go down in this game, and that is not good. I mean,
they're thin to begin with.
And they're thin to begin with. We mentioned 23 players, and that's not a healthy situation.
3rd and 9 from about the 36. Here's that reverse again. They got a couple of blocks here, and running with the football, C.J. Younger to the 42-yard line, and the Raiders just keep hitting. Evan Williams, number 22, in the tackle.
Evan Williams making the tackle for Riverview. 4th down and about 4.
We thought they were out of trick plays, Bob, but
Okay,
this is
there's
just a
1,
reverse.
2. Double handoff.
He made a nice move to get out of the way of Chris McCarthy, 68 there.
So the ball's at the 41.
This looks like the old AFL with all these trick plays and gadgets.
Out of the I formation. Darnell Jackson, first man, coming through with the football. They hold on to the shirt, and Lewis Mitchell picks up the first down.
Boy, in the old days of the tearaway jersey, he might have gone all the way.
Ed Shulo on the tackle. See, they should have been doing this the whole game. Move the clock before they move the sticks. Last week's game was finished 15 minutes ago.
And there was Bob Pika hanging on for dear life, and one of the officials. It's not been a healthy day for the officials either. We've seen a few of them go head over heels today.
Okay, they're out of the eye. The pitch comes back to Younger again. Younger looking for a block and is down to the 45-yard line. Picks up about 5 in the play, and we'll make it 2nd and 5.
64 yards on the ground for C.J. Younger today. That's one of the better efforts we've seen against the Raiders this year in the games that we've covered. And the clock is mercifully ticking away to 2:15 and counting.
Again from the eye. First man up through gets the ball. That's Lewis Mitchell again. Mitchell close to the 40, which would be another Wilkinsburg first down, but he's going to be short by about a half a yard. Well, if they give it a long look, they're about a half yard short. The Raiders ahead, 38-0, late fourth quarter. Here's Wilkinsburg now on 3rd and about a half yard. Uh-oh. This is going to cause a measurement, I'm sure. This will bring the sticks out. It was Lewis Mitchell again on the carry, but they'll stop the clock, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Correction. It is 4th down. Timeout.
And Wilkinsburg has called a timeout.
No gain on the last play, so it brings up 4th down and less than a yard.
Well, we have the white puffs of smoke. We have decided.
Let's take a look at our selection for the PNC Bank MVP of the game, Fritz Tamburo of the Raiders. So what's he done to Mike?
Well, he was very efficient this afternoon. He carried the ball 4 times for 77 yards, including a 70-yard touchdown run and a 3-yard touchdown run. And in our ever-ending effort to spread it around, Fritz Tamburo.
Well, he averaged 19 yards a carry.
He is. The problem with the Raiders isn't that, a lot of times you'll have games when you have to struggle to pick one because there isn't anybody. When you do a Riverview game, you have to struggle to pick one because there's too many people. Yeah. So the Fritz Tamburo gets it today.
Here he is. Fritz, say hello.
Fritz, congratulations. I think he's going to tell us he's going to Disney World, but I'm not sure.
Wilkinsburg on 4th and short. I don't believe this. Well, he'll get it and more. And the quarterback, Darnell Jackson, it's a long way to run to pick it up, but he did get the first down, and he's out of bounds to stop the clock. They'll spot it at the 37-yard line. I know, at least come out of it with a moral victory by getting a score in this one.
Well, they want to score. They haven't scored since the 8th grade picnic, so...
Here's Jackson.
September the 13th is the last time they scored.
First down here for the Tigers at the Raider 37. Jackson rolling to his right. He has a man out there who did not make an attempt to get away from his defender. And I knew that Jackson wouldn't throw the football. He was just kind of afraid that was going to be picked off had he thrown it. So he keeps the football and advances to the 33-yard line.
I don't think they're going to be able to get another one in, Bob. The clock's ticking down to 5.
And there are no timeouts.
That's going to be it.
That'll conclude it all here. It's all over at Riverside Park in Oakmont. And the Riverview Raiders win it by a score of 38-0. Welcome to the postgame show. It is brought to you by Thrift, True Value Hardware. Help is just around the corner. Thrift True Value is the official hardware store of the NFL. We'll check the statistics in the game right after this timeout. All right, from Riverside Park in Oakmont, the Raiders go on to win it 38-0. They have improved their section record to 4-0, and overall they are now 5-1. Wilkinsburg, the direct opposite. They are 0-4 in section play and 1-5 overall. The scoring began midway in the second quarter. Ertlejack had a 51-yard pass from Dujak. The kick fails. 3:31 to play in the period. Lucas Heekins on a 44-yard fumble return. 12-0. 2-point extra point fails. 20 seconds remaining. Ertlejack takes a 49-yard pass from Dujak to make it 18-0. The 2-point try fails. In the third quarter, it just started when Tamburo ran on 1st and 10, 70 yards, and made it a 24-0 game. And again, the 2-point conversion fails. Riverview, 9:14 to play. Just a couple of minutes later, Tamburo on a 3-yard run. The 2-point conversion fails, 30-0. And then in the fourth quarter, halfway through, Anderson on a 2-yard plunge, and it was 38-0. Josh Walsh failing on the 2-point play, and the Raiders went 0 for 5 on the conversions and 1 wide kick. And Mike, you've got the statistics, so let's see what happened there.
All right, Bob. Fritz Tamburo, our MVP, 77 yards on 4 carries. That's almost 20 yards a pop. Damian Heekins was the workhorse. He only carried it 11 times, though, for 61, as Jake spread it around a lot here today. Ben Ertlejack carried it 3 times for 29 yards. William Anderson came in late in the game and showed himself well for 46 yards on 8 carries. Matt Geppert ran it once for 5 yards. Jason Orban, 2 yards on 1 carry. Earl Belisario, when he came in to play quarterback, ran it once, and he was hit for a loss on that play. Justin Dujak, 3 carries for 0 net, and he was 2 for 5 passing for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns to 2 long bombs to Ben Ertlejack, one of 51, the other of 49, and those were both receptions by Ertlejack, as Ertlejack had the ball 5 times for 129 yards, very similar to his day last week. For Wilkinsburg, the freshman quarterback Darnell Jackson was 2 for 5 passing with 10 yards and ran it 10 times for 16. C.J. Younger, the leading ball carrier, 64 yards on 14 carries. Lewis Mitchell, 44 yards on 15. Lonnie Scales, 5 carries, 17. Lamar Scales, 3 carries for 3. And receiving, Lewis Mitchell caught the only pass that went for positive yardage. That was a 10-yard reception. As the Raiders stay undefeated in the conference, they win it 38-0 here against Wilkinsburg. And we'll move on next Friday night for the big showdown at Clairton. Bob?
Well, once again, the final score of the game today, 38-0. Riverview wins it at home. And a special thanks to the Riverview Raider Athletic Department for their assistance to the Comcast Cablevision crew. Our next telecast, next Friday night, when Richland invades Burrell. Hope that you're around for the 9 o'clock showing and a replay Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I'm Bob Tattern on behalf of the entire Comcast Cablevision crew. Thanks for joining us, and so long, everybody.